Yeah. Alrighty. We are live. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
It's Mark and I. Again, it is time for Musings with Stephanie and Maria. We have, hello. We have kind of a oh, you gotta turn that down.
Yep.
We are live. We're live over here, too. Okay. Anyway, we'll wait a minute till we kind of get a few people, but we have kind of I think a neat show today. I am sitting here with jacked up quarantine hair and no makeup because we've been working hard at the museum, working towards getting open again. Gonna take a minute. We don't have a date yet, but I think we have kind of a cool show today that you will enjoy. Right?
Yep.
Okay. See, I can't see from there. All right. We have a few people. How is everybody today? Nobody ever answers me. Yeah, this isn't going to work. I'm going to have to be able to see. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Tim. Hi, Mark. All righty. Maria, are you out there? I don't usually have Wednesdays, and we volunteered to do Wednesday. Oh, this didn't work out. To kind of get some extra stuff out there. Anyway.
Hey, Tim.
All right, we got plenty of people. Let's get started. This is the Wednesday edition of Musings with Stephanie and Maria. I'm Stephanie Von Drasik, retail director and historian by virtue of tenacity with City Museum. Maria is my colleague and friend. She is a tours director and chief archivist. This is my husband, Mark Von Drasik, who says he needs no introduction, but he is a legacy artist with the City Museum and was there from the very beginning, before the beginning, which is kind of why we have some of the awesome stuff that we have. Today we were kind of inspired by the t-shirt archive show that we did last week that I think a lot of people kind of got a kick out of. So today we are going to do Posterama. We're going to take a look back at some of the exhibit posters from very early on and kind of talk a little bit about some things that maybe some people remember or maybe don't remember. Right?
That's right.
Okay, so
today I'm wearing my Kraftwerk t-shirt to honor Florian. May he rest in peace.
I just right before we started this show, I just found out that Florian passed away, and I am verklempt, as they say. I love Kraftwerk, and I think a lot of people know that. And I don't even know why I love Kraftwerk so much, but they have such passion for their electronic music. It's just something else. But anyway, I really like Kraftwerk, and that really touched my heart to hear that. Anyway, so let's start with this. Behind Mark, you'll see this beauty.
Oh.
I think it's been up there for 10 whole minutes. I think now we've gotten so accustomed to it. This is probably the very first City Museum poster. It's actually one of the banners that hung on the
streetlights.
On the streetlights on Del Mar and probably Washington too, I guess.
Yeah.
These things were not, these were really not preserved all that well. I dug one up out of somewhere at some point. You can see the bottom has been cut off because we probably had to make something out of it or use it to wad up and pack something with or something. But anyway, it's very cool. It's one of the very earliest images that we used associated with the museum, and obviously pretty, what do you call it? Attention grabbing as you would have been driving down the street, as if the big serpent fence wouldn't have been enough.
I'd flip it over for you, but it's pretty tediously constructed frame that I made with sticks and clamps last minute.
Again, in the City Museum
City Museum
way.
style.
True enough. All right, so the first poster that we have is from the very first exhibit, the dinosaur exhibit, dinosaur bones, which, yep, nice colorful poster. And that was our very first formal exhibit at City Museum. There were Russian dinosaur bones, and I think there were you could do some digging along with it. This was actually before my time, so this would have been in 1997, into 1998. This exhibit would have been there. Sometimes people come through and say they remember it as kids, and obviously those are people that are 25 and 30 years old at this point. So that's kind of a nice one. We do actually still have some of those for sale. A couple of these we still have some for sale at the museum, but that's kind of a nice one. So, second, we have, this is from the Carl Millis exhibit, which was also very early. It must have been sort of like, there's, you know, part of the problem is it's like show handbills. They never, rarely put a year on things, and you'd think we'd learn, although maybe that's some kind of, you know, exhibit poster protocol, I don't know. But I figured out this had to have been 97 through 98, because this was gone before I got there too, and I got there in January of 99. So if you want to, so I know that you had a lot to do with mounting that exhibit.
I did. I worked with Gail. My role in that was to build all the pedestals and metal frames to support all the sculptures. It was really an extensive exhibit. And I made a scrapbook because it was something I was really proud of. And I'm not going to walk you all the way through that right now.
So, so about how many pieces were in that? Do you recall? Or can you estimate?
There were 30 crates, and
30 crates.
there were, I really couldn't tell you. I'd have to get the catalog and see.
So, okay, so what is the connection though with Carl Millis and St. Louis or City Museum or anything like that? I mean, I really don't know.
Well, Carl Millis did the fountains at Union Station,
That's right,
and
that's
some other,
Meeting of
yes.
the Waters, right?
yes,
Okay.
some other works in town. And it was, I think, it was an exhibit that was traveling that didn't have a home for a period of time. And
Okay.
Gail and Jean were, you know, looking for exhibits back then.
Okay,
And so that's how that came to be.
all right. And at that time, we did have that big dedicated exhibit hall, basically,
Yes.
which is now Skateless Park and where the pencil is.
Yeah,
But
where the
that was-
giant pencil is.
Yes, that was all open space at that time, and housed several different exhibits. After that, let me see, what's anybody got to say? Hi, Maria. Hi, Max. Hi, Lori. It is a classic, Tim. You're right. Talking about the banner, I assume. Anyway, so following that came the first Sullivan exhibit, which had a really nice poster, but I don't have one handy. God knows I've got one rolled up in a tube somewhere. But, you know, I worked in record stores for 20 years, well, 20 some years up till the point where I worked at, came to the museum. So I got more posters than, well, I certainly have more posters than I've ever had walls, that's for sure. So anyway, so things get rolled up and put away. Following that was the really big shoe show. This was inspired, of course, by the fact that, you know, the museum is housed in the International Shoe Company building. And of course, St. Louis has a rich shoe history, so we mounted this exhibit, which was really, really a wide-ranging exhibit. There was a lot of activities involved with it, a lot of different elements to it. We had a little shoe store, a little like antique vintagey shoe store built out in one area. We had several closets with pictures with shoe diva closets, and anyway, this was the first exhibit to really kind of meld in a lot of different areas of the museum. Art City did shoe art and things like that. That's when Art City was on the second floor. So it was really a fun exhibit. A lot of people might remember the big shoe of shoes.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Oh, Lord, he says. Big shoe made out of shoes that sat outside for quite some time, and then I think we foisted it off on shoe over in Clayton there for a while.
Yeah, it's still in Clayton as far as I know.
Yeah. Jean Stuck has a great story about going and picking that giant shoe sculpture up. And I will leave her to tell that to you sometime, because it really is pretty good. Anyway, the shoe exhibit actually, we might delve into that at another time a little bit more, because it was really quite an undertaking. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so next we have the birdhouses. This was an exhibit called Out on a Limb. Okay, somebody's saying something I gotta see. Hi from Rockford. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Mark. Oh, thanks. All right, sorry.
You can watch on my phone. You just gotta tap it.
Oh, I see. You learn something new every day. Sometimes I learn it really late. All right, so this is Out on a Limb. This was an exhibit
This
of...
one's not too cooperative here.
Well, no.
You should have got one from the flat file.
Well, I know, but I was trying to be...
All right, I'll quit screwing around.
Show them a poster, Rudy. Anyway, great poster. This was a fun exhibit. It was all artist-designed birdhouses of various kinds, also mounted in that big gallery. And had all kinds of just, I said, different artist-designed birdhouses. This is one of them. We did sell some of them, and this is one of them. So this like mounts here, you know. So, I mean, I guess you really could use it as a birdhouse, but I tend to put things outside and let them rot, so one inside. Anyway. All right, so next we had a fabulous exhibit of purses, but we do not have a poster from that one. So after that came the Doorknob Exhibit, which was jewelry for buildings. And again, and another one of the legacy of City Museum exhibiting people's collections. Now these came from a number of different collectors, but this was really an interesting show. Put together by Bruce Gary and some people in conjunction with the Architecture Museum. Really neat stuff, just really pretty, and it ran for a little while, but had a nice poster to go along with it too.
Titled Jewelry for Buildings.
Jewelry for buildings, yeah, you're right. So we had shoes, we had purses, we had jewelry for buildings. You kind of see we had kind of a thing going on there for a while with the decorative elements, accessories and whatnot. Along the same period of time, we had the bridesmaid dress exhibit, the big wedding thing, when the big wedding between the city and county, which was by far one of the weirdest things, events, exhibits, whatever you want to say, we've ever done at City Museum. We might talk about that again someday, but there really wasn't much in the way of graphics available for that. So now Art Chantry's next.
Oh.
This one is one of my favorites. This one hangs, obviously actually hangs in my laundry room because we would get to enjoy it a lot. Art Chantry, who is a legendary graphic designer and designed all kinds of show handbills, posters, album covers, book covers, all kinds of stuff. Specifically, a lot of work in the Seattle area in the late 80s, 90s, early mid days of punk and grunge and that sort of thing. He did live in St. Louis for a period of time, and we were lucky enough to have this fantastic exhibit. We have one small gallery which is completely covered with handbills and whatnot. Really cool. Unfortunately, this one didn't end very well because this took place during the time period of turmoil in which we were changing over from City Museum not-for-profit to City Museum for-profit, and this exhibit had to come down very quickly and very prematurely. So unfortunately, we didn't get to have that one very long, and I'm sure there's pictures of it somewhere. Maria, you might have some pictures on the archive from Jean. All right. So, moving on. So we didn't do exhibits and formal things like that for many, many years, so there were not posters to be had. This is probably the next up in line. This was a limited edition poster drawn by Meredith, who's known as Pence Wilson, and this was for our 20th anniversary in 2017. So you can see there was a big jump in between about 2000 and about 2017. We really didn't have a whole lot of graphic stuff, a lot of posters. So this was a nice hand-drawn poster. We did a limited editions of 50, I think, of a couple of different colors, like two different colors and one different stock or something like that. So those are very limited. Not a lot of those out there. So if you have one, you have something kind of special. And then finally, we come to our newer events. Tara McPherson had we had a pop-up sale with Tara McPherson, artist Tara McPherson, a couple of years ago, 2018. They provided the graphics for this. We just did had the stuff made. She was great. They come through and they did a great event. She was very, very sweet, very personable, very, lovely, personalizing things for people and everything. And then each stop on her tour had a different graphic for the poster. So that was kind of a nice limited edition thing. Okay. And then we've started to do, you can show those two little ones over there, baby. We've started to do some smaller event posters, limited edition event posters for the city nights and God, I can't even think anymore. City nights and the rooftop things, the events that we did last summer and last fall, and who knows this year. But anyway, we have started doing more limited edition posters for those as well. So, yeah, that's everybody likes the Spaceman. Spaceman is inspired because we have the NASA Spaceman suit, and he turns up fairly regularly. So, speaking of which, we have one piece of memorabilia that we found. Your picture? As we were looking through pictures and trying to locate posters and whatnot, because the archives are more organized now, but they have not been real organized up till recently. So this is a picture of Chef
Yours
Mark.
truly.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is me cooking out by the cabin. I had an idea not too long after Stephanie and I were married. I decided I wanted to, cook and invite a few people, and very informal, cash only.
Right. So Bob says, yeah, Mark's previous to working at the museum and previous to his art career, he was a professional chef, professional cook. So, Bob said, why don't you cook and have people, come over? And so we did that on Monstrosity for 3 weeks. And I remember you saying, yeah, I mean, he was still working at the museum, as was I, during the day. And I remember you saying, at the end of those 3 weeks, it's like having a party for 90 of your closest friends, once a week. It was quite an undertaking. But it was fun, and it was like 5 weeks after we got married. And so the reason why this is
Wait,
go ahead.
I want to talk about it.
All right.
So I did this. I had a small menu, choice of 2 entrees and homemade pies, and I cooked out there. And at first week I invited a few friends, and I had like 19 or 20 people show up, sold out. And the next week I prepped for about a little bit more than that, and then 40 people showed up, and I ran out of food. And the third week there were 60 people there, and it was really great. And I love to cook and interact with people about it, but it was too much work to continue. It was really a lot of work to do that.
Yes, it
was. It was just myself doing all the preparation and cooking.
Cut some things up.
And
Not much, but I cut some
Stephanie
things
was
up.
the hostess, and she was a fabulous hostess, and still is.
Go
All
on
right,
with
baby.
you. Go on with you. Anyway, so here's the tie-in with that. So this Saturday is our 16th wedding anniversary. We, of course, met at the museum. We got married in the church tower on Monstrosity. And
All the guests had to climb up in Monstro to watch the ceremony.
yeah, did not make our grandmas very happy. We were there's a great picture, a classic picture of my 2 grandmas standing on monstrosity and not really enjoying it that much. But it's a great picture. Your grandma was all right, but your grandma was on the ground. So anyway, on the in a chair, but on the ground. Anyway, so this Saturday we will be celebrating our 16th anniversary in that same parking lot at our cabin and pop-up. That sales for that go live tomorrow. You can order Thursday and Friday food and some activity kits if you want to order and pay online to pick up on Saturday, and that's where we'll be on our wedding anniversary. So, what you got?
Yeah, I wanted to say, when I was doing Hump Day Cafe, and it was called Hump Day Cafe because it was on Wednesday nights.
Oh, right.
You know, when I was doing it, they didn't call things pop-up or
No.
gorilla. You know, when I was doing it, it was just underground.
Yes, it was.
Oh, and also in that third week, someone from Sauce Magazine contacted me, and they wanted to come and write an article about me, and I said, no, that's okay, I'm not paying taxes, I don't need no attention.
There were a lot of things there that didn't need attention, but it was fun, and the food was good, and people had a good time, and it was, end of May through early June, so the weather was great, and I would never want to do it again.
It was something, I really loved it. I wouldn't want to do it any longer either.
No, it was cool. All right, well, what do we got? Yeah, this is it. Tim remembers we had capers on some of your entrees. First time he'd ever had them. Amazing food. Oh, that's
what
sweet.
What did he say?
It's an amazing food.
Give me back my food, my phone.
Your phone?
He had what?
Capers.
Oh, yeah.
He used to be big on capers.
Capers rule, man.
Yeah, I used to use a lot of capers. All right, speaking of capers, this one is over. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for the anniversary wishes.
How long did we go?
And hope you enjoyed it. Everybody take care of yourselves, and we will see you soon.